Guys, Crypto with Dinny, and it's Dinny here. Just a quick update, chat a little bit about fuel prices. I dropped my car over to get a bit of work on it today, and on the way back I was just chatting to a taxi man. I always like talking to people, the boots on the ground, just to get a bit of feedback, to see that they actually understand what's really happening. And so fuel prices are gone up pretty much around 30% now, and taxi drivers haven't put their fares up, so basically they've just taken the hit. And I was just saying to him, what's the crack like? Has it affected you much? And he's like, Jesus, yeah, it's affected us big time. And I'd always say to people like, well, what do you think is causing everything to go up in price? And, you know, as I say, the normal man on the street, the working man or woman, they don't know. It could be Brexit or something. They don't understand inflation, or they don't understand monetary policy, and loose monetary policy and expanding a money supply debases the currency that people hold and own and save in. But where this goes next is, so fuel prices today went up 10 cents, another whopper jump, okay, and they won't be going back down. For anyone who thinks this is a short-term thing, inflation never reduces. We don't get deflation, not with a fiat currency. Everything just goes up forever. It's guaranteed and predictable that goods and services will take more euros in the future to purchase than they take today. So what can we do about it, and how can we protect ourselves? That's pretty much what I focused almost all of my videos on chatting about that. So we won't go through that. But basically how this plays out now is, okay, the taxi drivers will eventually start protesting. The pensioners will eventually start protesting because, and rightly so, they can't afford to heat their home. They can't afford to buy their oil to heat their house, so they don't have to freeze in their gaff, okay? Their grannies and granddads who worked all their life and all they want is a bit of heat in the house, you know, alright? So they'll have to go and lobby for governments to give them more support. And then governments inevitably will have to do that and support and give tax breaks on this stuff. But the money's going to have to come from somewhere, is what you need to understand is, okay? Because money is energy, and real money, real capital, if it's energy, it can't be created nor destroyed, because energy can only change forms, okay, or move around. Energy can't be created out of fresh air, and that's why this whole money printing fiasco that we've tried to do with our modern monetary theory and policy, it just doesn't work. It goes against basic physics of what makes the feckin' Earth go around the sun, okay? But, so, the money's going to have to come from somewhere. So what's going to happen is, you're going to pay for it. Just like you did in 2008, when we bailed out the banks. You paid for it. Taxpayers paid for it. Anyone who has a job and is contributing to their country is going to have to cough up to try and subsidise those who can't afford their fuels. And that's sort of how a modern world works, is that those who can support those who can't. But if you try and examine the problem... Tell this lad I'll call him back. Boom. Sorry about that. So, if we go from a first principles perspective, and guys remember, if you like the Dinny Bombs, hit the like button. If we go from a first principles perspective, we wind it back. Okay, well, how do we fix this and how do we fix that? At the very base of everything we layer on top of it, base layer money is the base, okay? So if you don't like poverty in the world, if you support Dogs Trust, whatever the cause, okay, all of that can be helped by fixing the money, the base layer money. And that's the root of all our problems in the modern era. And I know that's a stretch for you if you only come into crypto, because you come to Bitcoin as a get rich quick. And we either stay here short term and not really understand it, or we go down the rabbit hole, we start to understand it, and your world opens. You go, oh my God, I've exchanged my time for money my whole life without ever understanding what money was. And now that I do understand what money is, this is crazy! And once you figure out how crazy it is, you're never going to work the same again, and you're also never going to struggle for money like those who don't understand the system struggle for money, because you understand money and you understand how money works, and therefore you understand the system, and therefore you understand how to leverage the system. At the moment, it's only the top 1% who understand the system and how to leverage the system, and they use debt to buy assets. Okay, versus normal people, they use debt to buy liabilities, and that's why they stay trapped and they work their whole life to retire for their golden years living on 200 quid a week or something. okay? Now I'm just in the petrol station here about to get my petrol, but fixing the base layer, fixing the money, fixing the bottom of having a money that's of fixed supply, so that's a money that goes up in value over time, as opposed to our euros, which go down in value over time, because this inflation continues. And now that we've got a war and the price of oil goes up, price of oil is in everything. Everything has a little bit of the price of oil inside in it, because it takes oil to transport it, or it takes oil to create it or manufacture it. All right. And that's why, as I've been forecasting since Crypto With Dinny was around, that 2020s are going to be such a hard year for people, and people are going to get poor and they're not even going to see it coming. It's going to come at them out of nowhere. And it's happening. It's playing out exactly. And you don't have to be a genius to work it out. It's just like, if you keep inflating the currency and deflating the purchasing power of the people who use it, and in the same instance you're not inflating their wages, okay, they are getting poorer. They have a reduced purchasing power. They have to give more of their euros for the same goods and services, but they're not earning more euros now. So therefore, they are poorer. Poorer. And that's how it's playing out, guys. So it's very important to understand inflation, understand the basics of monetary policy, and understand that fixing base layer money, i.e. Bitcoin, fixes this. We say this for a reason, but it does fix it. Just like in El Salvador, it's fixed it. If you see what they've done, is that they're building an economy on hard, sound money, okay? And the rest of the world has built their economies on soft money, on fiat money, on money that's guaranteed to go down in value over time, on money that, unless you understand how to become an investor, the system punishes you, okay? And remember what I said, only the top 1% understand this. So they use debt to buy assets, and that's how they get the wealth effect. But the majority of the world doesn't understand that, and they use debt because we're all incentivized to be pushed into debt and, you know, buy your home, own your home. So they're pushed into debt to consume, and then they're stuck, okay? And they can never generate a true wealth effect, and they work their whole life and they die with nothing. It's like, that's not the way it should be. If you have a hard, sound money, every hour of labor that you do today is worth the same forever, versus that's not true with our fiat money standard. Every hour of work you do today, that you exchange an hour to get money, well, it's diluted. The very second it's over, it's diluting. And in 10 years, your hour's work is diluted, and you can just backtrack that and look at all the hours work that your parents and your grandparents and all them did. That was heavily diluted. They would have been working for a penny an hour in today's terms. But hard sound money fixes this, and Bitcoin fixes this. And that's why I teach people how to build a Bitcoin pension plan to protect your future, protect your family's future. And if you're interested in that, hit reply in this message, and I'll message you and tell you exactly how I will show you how to create a Bitcoin retirement plan, a Bitcoin pension plan, a plan B, okay? So that when all this normal fiat nastiness is playing out, and the cost of petrol's going up, in euros, it's dearer for me to fill up my car, okay? I'm here at the petrol station. In euros, it costs more. But I have two currencies. Who is that? Tanner. I have two currencies that I use. I'm on what's called a hybrid standard. So I use euros and I use Bitcoin. I have two currencies. But in Bitcoin terms, it's getting cheaper. It's getting cheaper and cheaper for me to buy things, goods and services in Bitcoin terms, because Bitcoin's the money that's going up in value over time. And that's why I use this hybrid approach, rather than just living in my local currency of euros, because they go down in value over time. That's why we've adopted this hybrid approach, and everything that I want to buy in Bitcoin is getting cheaper over time. I used to have to pay 2,000 Bitcoin to buy a Lamborghini. Now I don't have 2,000, so I couldn't afford a Lamborghini. Then a couple of years ago, a Lamborghini cost 200 Bitcoin, and I don't have 200 Bitcoin. Okay? And now a Lamborghini might cost 6 Bitcoin. And in a couple of years, maybe a Lamborghini only costs 1 Bitcoin. And then in another couple of years, maybe a Lamborghini only costs 0.1 of a Bitcoin. Maybe I might give 0.1 for a Lamborghini. But that's the money going up in value over time. It takes less of the money to buy the asset. Versus in euros, Lamborghinis are getting more expensive. You know, they were 300 grand, then they're 350, now they're 400 grand, then they're 450 grand. Alright? Guys, hope you're learning, hope you're listening, hope you're enjoying the tips. Stick a comment in. Property is the best investment now as prices rise. Yeah, digital property though, because you can put it anywhere in the world and it's not stuck. But guys, have a super day. Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit the Is there a run on the pumps yet? No, when is the price going up? Is it going up? I thought it had already gone up. But I'll fill up this little yoke anyway. Guys, have a super day. Thanks for being here. Put a comment in and let me know if you understand inflation. That's my base question. Do you understand inflation? Do you understand why if you save euros, you're trying to fill a bucket and it's got a massive hole in the bottom? So it's madness is what you're doing. You're exchanging your time for money that's gone down in value. It's insanity. I know no one taught you this in school. I know none of your friends understand this stuff. But if you truly value your time, learn this stuff. Because it will give you back your time. Guys, have a super day. I'm looking forward to reading the comments later to see who understands basic inflation. And Dinny out!